it's become like the Socialist Party. In fact, I heard there's a rumor the Democrats are going to change the name of the party from the Democrat Party to the Socialist Party.
Joining us now is from Poor to CEO, executive producer Herman Cain, and former Obama economic advisor Austin Goolsbee. Austin, I'll go to you first. Is this an admission? I see you smiling a little bit. You know it's coming. Is this an admission that Obamacare has failed? I mean, the Obama team actually ran on not providing health care, U.S. taxpayer-funded health care to illegal immigrants. So is this an admission, finally, that Obamacare was a disaster?
That's wrong on every count, Dan, but I do agree with you that the debates were way too long. You clearly cherry-picked from Bernie Sanders, from marginal candidates, one sentence from here, one sentence from there, and you're portraying something that wasn't what they said. In the case of health care for people that are here with undocumented immigrants, that was, should people have access to health care, not that it would be given to them free, and not that they would take away somebody else's health care and give it to undocumented immigrants. That's completely absurd. That's not at all what they said in the debate.
No, I believe the question was government funded
if you go to the emergency room.
But Austin, hold on.
If a person goes to the emergency room
they already have
and they are undocumented, they have to be treated. That's the law.
Yeah, but he was asking, the moderators were clearly asking who would provide these benefits to people in the country illegally, and everyone raised their, we didn't doctor it. No, it's not like we Adobe Photoshopped the picture and put their right hands up.
That is the only one in which all of the people agreed, of the group that you selected. And on that one,
it was the whole group.
That people would be able to buy in. It wasn't that they would be given the health care free. It's that they would be able to buy in.
Austin, it was the whole group. We didn't select anything. Right, let me just go to Herman Cain. So, Herman, where does this work, this Democrat? We didn't cherry pick anything, by the way. Those are our own words. We have Bernie Sanders running on 70% plus marginal tax rates, which is utterly absurd. We have them running on expanding government spending, although we're $22 trillion in debt. Can you tell me, Mr. Cain, where anywhere on earth this agenda of heavy government spending, confiscatory taxation, where this has worked?
I'm surprised that Austin is from the same planet that these Democratic presidential wannabes are from. They are not from the planet Earth. Secondly, Medicare for all simply means no choices for all, period. Okay? Dan, that's an original soundbite that you can use in perpetuity. Medicare for all means no choices for all. All you have to do is look at Obamacare. They called it the Affordable Care Act, but it was the Unaffordable Care Act. And what happened to it because it failed is because it wasn't affordable for a lot of people. So Austin is trying to defend an indefensible position relative to health care for all, including illegals. They don't understand the word illegal.
Austin, you're an economist. You're a smart guy. Can you explain to me how mathematically it will work if people who are here in the country illegally, in other words, no constraints on you coming in, you can come into the country legally and still claim U.S. taxpayer assets, to claim our health care assets? Can you explain how mathematically? I mean, Friedman, the greatest economist of our lifetime.
I will explain it to you because, as I said, you cherry-picked it.
I did not cherry-pick anything. I played their own words. What are you talking about?
Dan, you didn't. Because Vice President Biden then explained why he voted for that. And he said it's going to allow the people to buy into the system, that you're going to collect taxes on those workers to pay into the system.
How are they going to do that if they're here illegally? Are we going to give them a social security number or a tax ID number? They're here illegally. How are we going to do that?
Well, yes, that happens now, Dan.
So we're going to
just people that are here illegally pay billions of dollars of payroll.
We give them social security numbers and tax ID numbers. I like how you switched that. That's not what we do. You know that. They pay sales tax.
They have a tax ID number. You can pay your taxes.
Here illegally.
Billions of dollars from millions of people do come in exactly that way.
So we should, what you're suggesting, I just want to nail you down on this, is we should wipe out any legal immigration process, let people come here illegally and lay claim to U.S. taxpayer. It doesn't make sense.
Dan, that's the complete opposite of what I have ever said. You just put words in my mouth that have nothing to do with what I said. I said that what all of those candidates said they were voting for was to allow people that were here undocumented to buy into the new systems that they were putting forward. Now, Bernie Sanders, you're right, is advocating a Medicare for all plan that would get rid of private insurance. But the majority of the candidates are for a Medicare by choice, which, as you know, the Congressional Budget Office says is cheaper than the system we have now, doesn't cost anything, and is supported by 74% of America, including the majority of Republicans.
All right, well, suggesting that Medicare is going to be cheaper than a privately run system is absurd. You're an economist. You know that's not true. The government bathes in inefficiency because cost and quality don't matter. You've heard of the third-party payer problem, I'm sure. Austin, let me just go to Herman Cain. I'll get back to you, I promise. But, Mr. Cain, Bill Clinton ran on the era of big government being over. Bill Clinton, well, I'm not a Bill Clinton fan, obviously, but government spending was relatively constrained in those years with the Gingrich Congress. Is that Democratic Party, the party of the second term Bill Clinton and John F. Kennedy, now, are those all Republicans? Is that all dead and gone?
The answer is no. Every one of those candidates that we saw last night and the night before, they favor the era of bigger government, more control government. That's what this is about. Austin can try to spin this all he wants to in terms of the words that he uses, but the fact of the matter is it all boils down to they want to spend more of our money, those people that make money and have jobs, and spend it more for illegals. Why don't they worry about the citizens of this country more than they worry about the illegals of this country? Why don't they do something to help secure the border? They finally passed something, but it took them 2 months or more in order to finally pass something to do something about the border. You want to know why? The people in the House and the Senate heard from their constituents back home. That's how we get civilized and we get back on planet Earth. They are not on this planet. They are from an alternative universe, as Laura Ingraham has said many times before. We need to get back to Earth, and we need to get back to looking out for the citizens who work in this country rather than worrying about the illegals.
Austin, just from taking it out to kind of a bigger perspective here, what is with this big government argument, higher taxes, government-run healthcare? Can you explain to me from the Democrat side of the fence what special knowledge government bureaucrats have to be able to manage the healthcare of 330 million Americans and manage the economy? If they were any good at that stuff, they wouldn't be in government positions. They'd be running a private business and making money.
Now, we can argue among the three of us. We can have a debate about what should be the role of government or how big should it be. You cannot deny that the overhead and the cost expenses on Medicare, which is one of the most popular government programs in the entire country, supported by massive majorities, those costs are lower than private sector health care.
No, it's because they have it's not true. It's because they have an older, sicker population. What you're doing is you're messing with the fractions. I know that trick. It's an older, sicker population. That's why their administrative costs
It's the
appear
opposite.
lower.
Older, sicker should look worse, but it looks better.
No, the administration. Come on, that's a trick everybody uses on the Democrat side. You know that, Austin. All right, guys, I got to run. Thanks a lot for joining us.
It's the opposite of a trick.
We'll have to continue this another time. You're now looking at live pictures of President Trump in Osaka, Japan at the G20 summit, where he's attending a women's workforce session. If the president has anything to say, we will bring that to you live. Herman, Austin, thanks a lot. The liberal establishment media is in total panic after the Democrats' first primary debates. They're beginning to realize the radical far-left positions being adopted by their party will cost them the general election against President Trump. Take a look at this.
Last night was a disaster for the Democratic Party. My only hope is people were not watching.
I'm texting with Trump campaign sources.
They love it. They love
Christmas.
It. Yeah.
Compared to Christmas, gleeful.
This is not your parents' Democratic Party. This isn't even your older sister's Democratic Party. It has changed considerably.
I still, in my heart of hearts, don't see anybody on that stage tonight that would beat Trump.
Virtually every Democrat on that stage took positions that were to the left of Barack Obama, playing right into, at least from the campaign's view, their plan to portray the Democrats as simply too far to the left, effectively a socialist party.
As you heard earlier, some of the radical proposals made by the Democrat presidential hopefuls this week include decriminalizing illegal border crossing, taxpayer-funded health care for illegals. How's that going to work out? Unlimited immigration, and migrants are going to get free health care? The math just doesn't work. Joining me now with reaction is Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. Senator Kennedy, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. I just had Austin Goolsbee on, and I was talking about the math here. Can't possibly work. You obviously have some experience in this arena. How do you have open borders? Milton Friedman said this a long time ago. You can't have open borders in a welfare state. The math just doesn't work because the entire globe essentially has a claim on U.S. taxpayer assets. It can't work because it won't work. Your thoughts?
I listened to parts of the debates. I just found it bizarre, Dan. I mean, I know many of the candidates running, but I felt like I was listening to folks who were Castro without the beard or Cuba without the sun.